Hi, this is me, Jackie. I just thought I'd do like a little poetry hour video, even though it's not going to be an hour, but just a short little poetry video. Some of the poetry I wrote. It's kind of like evangelism, like to inspire people to be Christian type of poetry. So if you're not Christian and you would like some encouragement, here is some. Just to kind of throw some out there just to invite people so they feel welcome, you know? So they feel welcome to try Christianity. Okay, let's see. I have a couple other poetry books too. I mean poetry videos. But here's some of the remaining poetry I didn't put up on the other ones. Passion and romance, ill-timed, can really ruin and jinx, cause true love to fly away bye-bye. Forever love so true, no one wants to feel bad, and a sinner, do you? Give it time, for in marriage it's fruitful and kind. But romantic love, ill-timed, doesn't suddenly seem love at all, but manipulation and lust, the kind that lacks, that corrodes and rusts. It causes it not to happen, for it causes it not to happen nor to last. A relationship needs time for friendship to last, to grow, so you can know for sure if right or if to say goodbye. So things won't go wrong, best to do romance in right order and time. In time just right, not outside marriage is best. And here's another one. Let's see. Poem. One may tell 'tis sin that haunts to ensnare, for if ill-timed, please do beware, for we could and should beware, even uncomfortable besides, for 'tis deceptive that sin, 'tis true, for oft seems a good, not even bad, but later seems so not true. What? No, don't be loud. I'm trying to do this. Okay. Poem. Quiet. It's okay. Shh. Praying for souls detained in purgatory. Flames, do you pray? Why not believe? Why not today? For Jesus said many souls can get forgotten this way. Sadly, be lamented yet yea. He lamented yet yea. Why not believe? Why not today? For saving souls is wise, Bible did say. Let's realize, let's relay. In churches today. Poem. Are you ripped off? Do you feel Christians, fallen away Christians, ever feel Christianity strangely disappointed for some reason, not helping your life much as you'd hoped as I? So, Christian leaders, please realize, if wanting not to steer away, but to save for saving souls, Bible says is wise. Make sure to make your church have regular communion for Jesus related. It's time of grace. For if your church lacks something extra of holy graces and seems a form of religion lacking as much power as seems it should have to help souls toward fuller lives, please bring back communion and have it regularly. Yes, realize that in graces. Yes, realize. Actually, I kind of changed my opinion on that, because I read in a Jesus Messages book, he said to have communion as often as, or maybe it was the leader of a church. Well, anyway, I think it was Jesus said it too, to have communion as often as you could. But actually, sometimes the Bible also says, in some cases, we're not like always, we're kind of sinful, so we're taking it, we shouldn't have it when we're being sinful. So in a way, it's good that some churches don't have it really often, regularly, and some do have it regularly. Because then if you're in a really sinful time of your life, you could just go to the Protestant churches or whatever ones don't have it regularly, because then you won't be taking the communion in a way where it's negative, like the Bible says it could be, if it's unworthily, that verse. And then the other, and other times when you feel like you're not struggling as much with sin and maybe you're more worldly, then you could go to like whatever ones have it more regularly, Orthodox or Catholic or whatever, because then you won't be taking it unworthily. Of course, you could just skip it too, or whatever, but whatever works. So I think it's good that just how it is now. So I don't know. That's kind of a defunct kind of thought on that one. But okay, poem. Why not to miss church? Why not to miss communion regularly? I say Jesus did plead. It's his time. Angels write names into book of life. Paradise indeed. When people go to church. A time for graces, communion, it is so, nay, never do miss, for times of graces you will miss. So please do come, your invite divine. Jesus' love, mercy sublime. God sent his Son, only one, only way, to love and save souls today for heaven and always. Paradise. Heaven, paradise, always. Always. So that's kind of like to people that don't go to church. Why not to miss church? In other words, go to church. Because I read in this Messages book of Jesus, he said during the communion service at church, well, not necessarily the communion part, but just the church service in general, angels write names into book of life. Just seeing who's receptive, who's sorry and contrite or something. Like just who's receptive, basically, I think it meant, kind of, sorry for sins and different things. So, okay, what else? Let's see, poem. To Christian churches, a problem of less grace is within, a solution that Jesus can win. Through letting communion back in. For regular communion, if it achieves graces as Jesus did say, and if he said not to miss it, unless for good reason, like if you're, in a really sinful state of life maybe. But he also said the mistake people make is that people don't seek him as a refuge when they're in times of sin. You don't necessarily you might not be as worthy for communion, but you're still worthy to seek him as a refuge. So that's a misconception I think people have. Like he said, like it pained him or something in the Messages book I read. It pained him that people didn't still seek him as a refuge when they were going through sins. Now, the Bible also says you shouldn't take communion unworthily, so it doesn't necessarily, but you can still seek him in different ways, or still go to church, of course, and stuff. So, this is the rest of the poem now. Then make sure to have it each week or daily, services if can, for then can help souls to win, for graces can help souls now and in afterlife. Besides, and how do you get deceived to discount the communion that Jesus promises gains eternal graces to not miss, not do without. Poem. Never miss communion, Jesus did say, for its time of grace. Yes, in some of Jesus' messages he did say. So don't sway towards modernists, missing out. Better lives, ways, keep communion regularly. Churches to gain graces today. Okay, I don't know what else says. Okay. Poem. Never tire to proclaim of my mercy, of my name. Jesus is my name, the way to claim. Way to claim. Pave the way, only way to mercy someday. Jesus, only way, save the day, made a way to paradise someday. Only way, spread abroad, honor of my mercy, come and laud. Be safe from terror at death, all near and far, for those who endear to come near. Be receptive, one so dear, all safe from enemies now and at death, and later, now in life and later at moment of death, and safe from terrors, those that are receptive to me. So don't fear, never fear those who draw near. See, these are like poems I wrote a long time ago, a few years ago. And I never really put them up yet, so some of them I put up in other videos, but I don't think I put up these ones. Okay, poem. It is I, an evangelist, said to something. It is I, an evangelist. I who am trying, I come find to tell some good news, gospel's views for I didn't type up some of them, that's why I can't say that word, okay, because I don't know what that says. Okay, triumph, mercy, try it. Mercy and triumph from above, at last, heed and come to good news at long last, for it's love, true love, from above. Jesus' mercy and his love, sent from true God from above. Poem. What churches do lack these days, do I say? Why communion and regularly they lack, yes, yea. For Jesus himself said only with good cause, reason, and rhyme should you miss communion and graces that come by so divine. So please do change, yes, churches of today, and bring back God's will for communion regularly, for more graces to sway, and win souls for today. I just kind of thought like maybe the years of going to the Protestant churches kind of made me when I used to be Catholic, kind of made me like not have as much graces, so it seemed like I sinned more. But maybe if you're already a sinner anyway, it's good to go to those churches. It's good they have those, because then you won't receive communion unworthily. But if you aren't as struggling with sin, then you could go to the Catholic one, because then you could receive communion, which is also kind of sometimes helps you get the graces so you won't sin more regularly in some cases. Unless it doesn't help, in that case, then it's good to be Protestant. Well, I'm like a church hopper, so I've gone to all of them, so I don't really know. So I'm kind of like, I don't know what I feel about it, but I kind of like them all sometimes. But anyway, poem. Although I do think it's too bad that Protestants believe the lie of not praying for the souls of purgatory, because just one person like preached that, probably Martin Luther, and then everybody believed him, and then that's why there's so many ghosts that are stuck hundreds of years just because of that one lie. And like, what if there is purgatory and souls are stuck there? And obviously the ghosts are proof that there is, because they're stuck in between, aren't they? Ghosts, yes. It seems like they're always asking for help, which is also proof that that must be some sort of purgatory in between realm that they're in. Maybe it's not like showing the actual flames that they're really in, but they're just, it's showing a film of how they're stuck, like a replay of their life. Like they're manifesting. I read in this purgatory book, it said souls manifest when they need prayer. So I immediately thought, oh, ghosts, they're always appearing to people. That's manifesting. And so I started praying for ghosts, and a conversion prayer is really good for ghosts. If anybody wants to pray it, you could pray it like, "O blood and water, which gush forth from the heart of Jesus as a fountain of mercy for us, I trust in you." Simple as that. Memorize it. It's a really good conversion prayer. Or you could just pray, if you're living in a haunted house, you could be like, "I pray for the conversion of whatever ghosts are here," Because I think they're only stuck because they're not fully converted. Like sometimes there's children ghosts. You wouldn't think they'd be ghosts, but they probably didn't learn about Christianity yet, so they're not really ready to cross over yet. So you just have to help them cross over. Anyway, I lived in a haunted house. That's why I got all into all this praying for them thing. Because I had to. Otherwise, they'd hide all my stuff and they'd keep knocking and keep tapping me on the shoulder, and everything. I felt like I had to pray for them, Like, otherwise, they create chaos in your life, sort of. It's like you get bad karma if you don't care about people, right? You gotta care about people if they're struggling and need help. Okay. Otherwise, it's not going to help you if you don't help them, It's like going to come back to you. It'll help you if you help them to cross over and be happy. It'll make everybody else happy too, It's like if they ain't happy, nobody's going to be happy. Anyway, poem. For when church is so lessened, weakened, less helpful, with less graces that abound through communion of Jesus' blood and body, when not something regularly often received, tismic, soulless, inspired, and likely more to be deceived to fall away and into sin, and less fruitful lives to badness then wins. So badness wins. So bring communion back, churches, for regularly. It wins graces for lives of world salvation and happiness over struggles to win, through Jesus' mercy over them. And also, I think a good idea for churches, if the church leaders want a good idea, I think it'd be a good idea to pray the 1,000 souls prayer. If there really is proof that prayer really was said by Jesus. Jesus also said to pray that "O blood" prayer that I just prayed previously, the conversion prayer. He said to pray that. He said he will grant the grace of conversion to whoever you pray that for on behalf of some sinner or some ghost or some criminal. Or you could look up criminals online, pray for them, watch crime documentaries, pray for them. That's what I do. So I'm just saying other people could do that if they feel like to. I feel like there's so many people that need prayer. Like, I can't pray for them all. I hope you all are praying for your loved ones. Pray for their conversion, though. Pray either the conversion prayer, like I just prayed earlier in the video, you could rewind it for that, or just pray, "I pray for so-and-so's conversion." If you have any doubt, if you wonder if they're going to make it to the good realm, if you have any doubt at all that they might need help, if they're struggling or anything at all. or if you just want to definitely see them make it to the good realm just because you really love them, they're really cool people or whatever. Or even just strangers are passing by on the street corner. That's what I do. So, oh yeah, another good prayer, the 1,000-soul prayer. I think churches should pray that. It goes, Eternal Father, I offer thee the most precious blood of thy divine Son, in union with masses said throughout the world today, for all holy souls in purgatory, for sinners everywhere, those in universal church, in my home, and in my family. Amen. That is a good prayer, because Jesus said it will help 1,000 souls each time it's prayed. So I think if churches prayed that, it would help so many souls that are stuck, and so many sinners that are alive. I think that should be added to the church service. That's what I think. I just thought that was such a good prayer. Because I pray it sometimes when I'm hearing about like a lot of people that need prayer. I'm like, I better pray that prayer. Like when I look up different haunted places, I practically made it a career to like paranormally seek out people to pray for. Because I do it so much. But sometimes I hear about, oh, and this place has 100 people that are ghosts here or whatever. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't pray individually the conversion prayer for each one of those, right? So I pray like that 1,000-soul prayer, and hopefully that covers a lot of them, or some of them, or whatever. The prayer can go towards some of those. Okay, poem. From clean meat eating for Sabbath keeping, not stirring up romance before marriage is proper time. Timing's important. Let's try to live them for better lives, better lives. Then on to offering and receiving communion regularly and often. Could we try? So churches, could we please not modernize? Will not miss grace is needed. Let's try. Oh, let's try. For living a life, life is not a good alibi. For living a lie is not a good alibi. That's kind of, I came up with like a few like good rhymes here. For living a lie is not a good alibi. Let's try rather to live divine truths. Can we rather underestimated truths? So try. Let's live more. Let's try. Let's try. Do you believe too, as I do, these truths to rely? Praying for dead. In purgatory we can. For even health articles agree and realize with God's wisdom to clean meat eating and not do you up and anymore, for doubting doesn't save souls forgotten. Yes, sadly true. Saying yes to praying for salvation, to not only physical health, please do. Yeah, because a lot of people at church, they pray for people's health, but then sometimes I don't hear them praying for people's conversion, salvation. That's what we really should pray for. Mary said in her messages book to pray for salvation and only salvation, because it's so important. So, because I think we forget that. You know, it's good to pray for other things too, but like, we should make sure to pray for the most important thing of salvation for people. Although they do have altar calls where they have you pray the salvation prayer. So they do sometimes at church, and they have altar calls. People go up and they're receptive. And angels probably write your names into the book of life, into the book of salvation when you are receptive in those ways. So they kind of have it, but then I think people could still also pray for salvation more too. But saving souls is wise. Bible realize. Yes, do you realize? Okay. Jesus said he awaits our requests. He awaits our for requests so he can be delegated to help. Don't assume it's not your place, for example, to judge who should be saved by Jesus' love, and prayed salvation for, assuming people may automatically be helped by God. So believe, what if God acts through us, our prayers? So better make sure to not neglect to care for saving souls, to help them get there. I bet little known fact I share. Yeah, because in this Messages of Jesus book, he said this, I think it's a little known fact, kind of a secret. He said that he doesn't even help, he said he waits us to delegate him to help. He waits for us to ask for his help. So he might not always help us. He might not always just automatically help us. I think a lot of people just assume the spiritual beings are helping everybody, but Jesus also waits for us to act and ask him to help. So we have to make sure to pray too, and ask specifically for him to save certain people and bring them to salvation. We can't just assume different people will be helped. We have to make sure to pray for them too, just in case. Because maybe Jesus automatically helps some, but he doesn't always automatically help everybody, because he said you have to do all you can, and then you can rely infallibly on his help. You have to try too. You have to pray for people too, and things like that. Okay, poem. When love protects, it helps you grow, and no truths unseen, these can save souls, and wisdom helps people to thrive and stay alive. Without wisdom, people perish, Bible says, did you know? If you let its warnings, when is hate is really love unseen? Can it help you grow if you let its warnings grow? Okay, I'm not sure. Okay. When love protects, unbelievers don't, For many times when warned, they say and plead, don't persecute us, no. Don't judge us, and yet no. Bible said, love protects, and God lets be warned whom he loves. So enough to save from danger. Unbelievers, please believe and know, for it's not all as bad as at first may seem. No, that hate you perceive is really love, don't you know? This is like talking like when people aren't receptive to when you're just trying to evangelize them and help them. Because just because we're criticizing your precious sin doesn't mean we just hate the sin, but we don't really hate the sinner sometimes, Like that's a misperception sometimes. Because if we didn't love the sinner, we wouldn't care what y'all did, right? We would be like, do whatever you want. But when we warn people not to be involved with negative stuff, it just means like maybe we see people overdoing being involved with negative stuff, and it might be to the point of danger or something. So then sometimes people care enough to warn you, like if your kid's gonna do something dangerous, you warn them, right? That's loving, right? That's not judgmental. So sometimes it's taken more seriously when it's from somebody that loves you. So I can see why sometimes if a stranger tells you what to do, it's not going to be taken as well, because you don't know that they love you. So it's not from a reputable source like a parent or somebody loves you. So, but it's still, you could love strangers too, enough to warn them if you see them in danger or something but oh well, whatever. Poem. When Bible said good works for salvation, don't rely, oh no. I believe I really do is this way, speaking to unbelievers, new Christians mostly, did you know? For if these say no, I don't need religion nor God, no. For I read A Good Life by human worldly standards, and yet just so. But alas, beware, for Bible did state good works. Stop recording, I don't know why. Okay, this is the continuation. And God lets... Why do you have to stop recording? But alas, beware, for Bible did state, good works, a good life, by itself and alone, is just not the way. For salvation is through partly good works, yes, yea, but only mostly other half or more through Jesus' mercy, yea. So don't forget, most important, this. Jesus' mercy goes hand in hand with good works, yea. Fruitful life of Christianity, not good works alone, shall all be saved, but faith without works is dead. So both are essential. Don't leave either out, okay? Because I think some people think good works aren't important, so they might misunderstand that Bible verse. I don't know, they might think good works, like some people actually said good works are all that I need. Like I live a good life, I'm good, I don't need religion or whatever. But you need both. You need to rely on Jesus' mercy and have some touch with goodness, like Christianity, some good influence things, combined with, you know, the good works of the good life, doing good things that are in tune with the Bible standards or whatever. But I mean, it's good to have half of it, but like with that, it's like without Jesus' mercy, though, you're not going to have salvation, because good works are good to help the world, you know, as far as that, but they're not going to help you in salvation, right? So, but good works combined with being Christian will help you get salvation and do good to others. Although I did hear also this story of a person that went to heaven. He just visited or something. They said they asked them at heaven's gates that they asked them, did you learn to do good? Did you learn to love others? They asked this person at heaven's gates. I don't know if that's what they ask everybody, but like, so it's probably important to some degree to do good, of course, and to learn to love, yes. But you probably also have to be Christian, of course, because that's what the Bible says. You can't just have only good works, because that's not the whole thing. The most important thing is to have reliance on Jesus' mercy, because nobody's going to be perfect. So you have to have that number one for salvation. Like the other, really important too, I think the other half of it, but you have to have both of them. You can't just have half of it, you know. Although you might be able to have just reliance on Jesus' mercy, because that would cover the imperfect, not doing enough good works too side of it. But you still should have good works. If you get inspired, you might as well, right? Because that makes it all the better. And I think that's important too. People might underestimate that, but that's really good too if you can, like, you know. But I mean, you can't get salvation through just good works, though, of course. You know, you need to be Christian and rely on Jesus' mercy mostly. Okay, that was what that was about. I was just kind of deciphering what that was about. Okay, I think... Okay, poem. Jesus said in messages of his, did I read, to not miss communion of church, for grace is essential we need. His plead. And of course, if you're in a really sinful time of life, you don't necessarily need to seek communion then, but like you still should seek the refuge of Jesus. He said you should seek his refuge, seek him in other ways, like go to church or seek Christian things, good influence things, you know, because you still need him, of course, extra when you're struggling with sin and everything. Like he said a lot of people don't seek him when they need him, when they're struggling, you know. That's the mistake people make. But you don't need to receive communion because you might not be as worthy if you're all too sinful, though, the Bible also said. So it's kind of has this kind of bipolar, confusing message, but if you think about it, I guess it makes sense and everything. But I really have to think about some of this stuff to kind of make it make sense to me, because it almost seems like contradictory, but I guess it makes sense, though, if you think about it. But you got to be kind of careful deciphering all this, because it's a little complicated, but it makes sense if you analyze it a little. But okay. His plead, without good reason, not to miss them. His bread and water wine, his blood and salvation divine. see, what other ones? Poem. For poem book. Okay. Don't quench the spirit, no, no, no. One way, Jesus' mercy seek today and always. For those enduring to the end, though sway of sin puts away, come back. Yea, please stay. For protection from God can win soul safety for outside, for within, for world now and then. And so when salvation, Jesus' mercy only way. Okay. And I guess that's the end. Okay. Now, what else? Okay, so what else? Poem. In evangelism, this I do tell. For I learnt the meek way does well. For saving souls can be tricky if not done just right. For Jesus said loving way works to persuade. Works so well. Although Bible also relayed, he said, for Jesus said loving gentle way. Jesus said the gentle way works to persuade. He said that in his Messages book. I'm not talking about the Bible, I'm talking about some of his Messages books. I mean, some of them are really good, so yeah. Okay. Even disciplining way can persuade. Even this can show God's concern and love, he did say, and warn those gone astray. The warning of sin causing strife for bad life. In one message book, though, he said he doesn't really, he abhors when people say it too harshly, though. Although the discipline is good, but just, it's better if it's said in kind of a loving, understanding, gentle way. Because he said to say it in a gentle way. And also the Bible says meekness, the meek will inherit the kingdom of God. So, for when I warned them of sin, yes did they scorn, and back that I judged quite a lot, and just way proved grave, quite hard indeed, for strictness, quite hard to win them. Just simply inviting to church and being friendly and nice, yea, yes, yea. But yea, did they respond to meekness, have the time of more and quite well. When I just something right, can you Christian, when I just asked, are you Christian and church goer? And if said nay, like to try yea. Well, anyway, I tried to write all that in a poem, but it kind of, okay. But anyway, what I was really trying to say right there was that my idea was, well, I used to try and evangelize people, but I did it in this harsh way that didn't really work because I criticized their precious sins, which of course they hate, right? Because they're kind of like, it's so hard to change and everything. They don't even necessarily like, people don't even necessarily like sin, but it's addictive. It's hard to change sometimes, so I could see that, but they take it all personally that you're hating the sinner or not just hating the sin, even though you're really just hating the sin. You're really just trying to worry. I mean, you're just caring about people to be on a better wavelength, trying to help them to overcome dangers or whatever, but they take it like you're judging them, which I can see, but it's too bad because like I meant it in like, I just wanted to be friendly, to invite people, you know, to be on a better wavelength, to have a better life, you know, because sin hinders your life and jinxes you and everything, and so it's bad luck, and it's like, you know, it's nice to be free from it if you can, but anyway, I learned a better way to evangelize, which is, you know, sometimes I try to just, if I went to a store, I'd get kind of inspired. I think, oh, who can I I made some church invite cards just out of a little invite card that you can buy at the dollar store. And I just wrote the service time of a church, and this was my idea for evangelism because I couldn't ever afford a missionary trip or anything, so I thought I'll just evangelize locally. And you could just make little invite cards to church, write the church time and the service, the day and the time. And then if you go to the store, you could be like, if you see someone you're inspired to, that looks like the type you don't see at church, which in my town, it's like the younger people that are like around my age. I never see them at church, or like different foreign cultures I don't see at church, I mostly just see seniors, And so I thought I want to invite the type of people I don't see at church. So, because all types should have religion, all types should have help and inspiration, goodness, and be invited and be welcome, And so I would just go up to people that I felt inspired to. I'd be like, are you Christian? Do you go to church? Would you like an invite? And so I'd give them a little invitation card with the church time on it. If they said sure. A lot of times they would say sure, and I was so surprised. I was like, oh, this way actually works. Of course, I thought my artwork would help more, because I thought, oh, it'd be so great to put it in all these different languages and make like different countries, and and peddle my artwork in Europe and different things, but I never could seem to afford it. I can't ever afford to go to Europe to do that. So I thought of just doing locally, which is good, and people are receptive to it, but I mean, it's not going to help like a lot of different cultures or anything. It's going to be kind of biasly only helping your one little town, but I mean, at least it worked, right? Because other ways that I tried, I used to try like online, criticizing people's sins and everything, and that doesn't work. Warning people and all that doesn't really help. It just makes them want to like kill you and stuff, so that doesn't really help. I wouldn't recommend that way. No. I would recommend just inviting people to church, be friendly and welcoming, that's it, and not criticizing sin, unless you're their parent or somebody that they know loves you, so they will take it the right way, because otherwise they take like you're judging them or something, even though you're just hating the sin. You're not really hating the sinner, right? But I mean, they take it that way, so. Okay, that's what I've learned as a freelance missionary. Okay, I can never afford an official missionary trip, but just freelance. Okay, anyway. Poem. Glad I learned a mystery, how souls in need of prayer will manifest when show they're there. And we can see and pray for them, for sinners, souls, such as I do believe and think ghosts, purgatory souls, manifest this way. So I've heard and do believe, I read in Purgatory book. It's a beautiful thing to be there and care and pray for their eternal welfare. For then when they're in need, to show we care. Sympathy decides who will make it out all right. See, sympathy decides. Like, we have the power to like refer them to Jesus' mercy by praying for their conversion. And like we could help them, like we could actually have a little bit of power to refer them to the help that they need. It's really cool. So I would recommend that. Recommend praying for people's conversion. Okay, so what else? Oh, there's probably more in here. But a lot of them say I already put them up on my other videos, so. Oh, here's one I didn't do yet. Tis thing is true, I tell, to pray for souls right now. For Jesus said for us, his favorite prayer, 'tis is, for sinners' conversions. And another, to offer his blood united with sufferings. And I do say, best way is to offer them of world. Go to count for more than just our sufferings. Yes, yea. Yeah, like, this is saying, like, Jesus said in one Message's book, he said to pray for people's conversion and to pray for sinners' conversion. And so, and to offer his blood united with sufferings of yourself to help souls. But I thought, oh, offer the sufferings of the world would be even better, because just our own sufferings might not be as much to offer. But if you, so a good prayer to pray that I prayed to myself, and actually I got the response that it was really heard, because I read in a Messages of God that was on Facebook. It was like a modern messages, like somebody got it channeled to them or something, and it said it was God talking, and he said, I am offering the sufferings of the world for souls right now. It actually said the answer to what I was praying for. Like it heard it, and it was acknowledging it, that exact thing that I was praying for. So I knew that that prayer was heard, because they wouldn't know that the exact thing that I was praying for unless it really was them talking, right? It must have really been God talking. Only he would know what I prayed for, right? Because it was really a prayer I made up to offer. But it was also based on what Jesus said to pray for. So that's what made it so powerfully, heard, because it was, Jesus said to offer your sufferings united with his blood. So I'd be like, I pray that I offer the sufferings of the world united with Jesus' blood. Really simple, right? So you guys can pray that too if you want. It's really easy, so to account for more than just our sufferings, yes, yea, to also pray daily, his mother Mary did add, for souls stuck in purgatory placed so sad. For Jesus said, yea, sad plight they do have, for forgotten they can be. He actually said, yeah, it was that they're forgotten a lot of times, the souls in purgatory. Because I guess people don't believe that they're there, but in the Messages book of Jesus, he said, souls are forgotten in purgatory. They're not always prayed for, so it's good to pray for them. Because I felt like, oh, they're forgotten, They can be forgotten, they can be, yes, yea, sometimes, so please do care today. And then poem. A conversion prayer Jesus in his Messages books did say, we can pray to help souls today. O blood and water which gush forth from the heart of Jesus as a fount of mercy for us, I trust in you. So simple, and memorize it this too. So let's say on behalf of some sinner, as he said we can do, and he said he will grant grace of conversion to them. Yes, so true. He actually said that. He promised that. So I like prayers where the spiritual beings actually promise that it will really help, for sure. Like, it's a sure thing type of prayer. If it's from a reputable source of Jesus actually saying to pray for it, then it's a really good prayer. I think that's like my favorite type of prayer, those type of ones. Poem. Jesus did importantly, as usual, relay for us to read Bible before 1965, my children. For I think he did mean some may have been lost in translation a bit, or more come not as accurate, who can say, but we can trust today. And his mother did also add, the mods are to modern Bibles avoid for older, less older, yes, something. Well, anyway, I thought that too before. I thought I want to get the oldest translation English Bible I can, just to see if it's more accurate, or the older ones. And Jesus, I read later in one of his messages that he actually said to look for the older Bibles before 1965. So those might be more accurate. He and Mary also agreed the modern ones are not as good or something. And so